Tamar Braxton details a terrifying near-death experience. The singer takes to Instagram on August 19, sharing that she recently suffered a scary accident. Now, let Tamar Braxton tell us she was found bloody, bruised and barely conscious after a night out with love and hip-hop Mendeecees Harris, who just happens to be Yandy Smith's husband or soon-to-be ex-husband. Cops had to be called, and that's when everything spiraled into one of the messiest scandals of the year. Once the news broke, the internet lit up. Blogs, fans, everybody online started piecing the story together like it was a live soap opera. And the details that kept spilling out made it even harder to believe that this was real life. Because what followed was a chain of events that mixed cheating rumors, a marriage under fire, Tamar's health crisis, cops stepping in and social media tearing it apart in real time. And by the time the dust started to settle, folks were already saying that Yandy had crossed the line from reality TV star into real-life headline. And this was way played out. And the way this played out, it's not hard to see why. So, let's rewind a little bit back to the actual night because this is where everything starts to get real murky and messy. It was just another late night in Atlanta. B12 lounge packed, the music blasting, bottles popping. And in the middle of all that chaos, Tamar Braxton and Mendeecees Harris looking way too comfortable together. Now, this wasn't just casual industry networking. Multiple eyewitnesses say they were locked in the whole night, laughing, leaning close, whispering like they had their own private world going on in the middle of the club. Aren't y'all a little old to be in the club? But anyways, here's the kicker. People weren't just seeing them together. They were watching the body language. One person said Tamar was leaning on him, like really leaning. And Mendeecees wasn't backing away. Definitely giving PR stunt, 'cause y'all knew they was watching you. But you know how it is in Atlanta. Nothing stays hidden for long. Somebody's always recording. Somebody's always running the blogs. And that's exactly what happened here. By the time 1 a.m. hit, Tamar and Mendeecees allegedly dipped out together. And it wasn't on some we just happened to be leaving at the same time type stuff. Witnesses claimed they walked out like a pair with him right behind her. But that's when Funky Deva, who's close associates to Tamar, stepped in to drive her home. But the detail that really has everybody clutching their pearls is that Mendeecees is trailing behind them in his car. Now think about that for a second. Tamar in one car with Deva. Men's right behind like a shadow. That's not just a casual coincidence. That's some effort. That's intentional. And when they got to Tamar's spot, things didn't just end at a curb. According to Deva himself, Tamar invited him inside for an after-party. Not just him, but a couple of other friends, too. That's where the timeline turns. Murky and eerie. Hours after that little gathering, Tamar ended up in what she described as one of the scariest moments of her life. She was found in a pool of her own blood, missing teeth, beaten up so badly that she almost died. Now, Tamar's official story, she chalked it up to a tragic accident. But when you line it up with the events of that night, the streets don't see it like that. They see a setup, they see payback, and all eyes went straight to Yandy. But let's be real a second for a millisecond. Yandy has been holding on to her marriage. And with Mendeecees, he's through every kind of storm. Jail time, cheating rumors, shady DMs, all of that. She's even clapped back at people online for suggesting anybody could come between her and her man. So, if she really found out Tamar was creeping with him that night, the idea that she pulled up is not far-fetched to a lot of folks. People aren't just speculating quietly. Fans are putting the pieces together online out loud. One comment summed it up. Yandy beat up Tamar because she was sleeping with him. Then there's a time the cops were allegedly called and that detail has been floating around heavy. The sirens were heard in the neighborhood. Lights flashing, neighbors buzzing about what really went down inside Tamar's home. But the reports have been super vague, almost like somebody is trying to keep the lid tight on this one. But here's another layer. Tamar had just started rolling out new music. She wasn't planning on dropping visuals yet, but then out of the nowhere, the trailer for her project with Wait For It Mendeecees popped up online earlier than expected, and people pointed out that this early release wasn't random. It looked like damage control, like Tamar and her team were trying to distract the streets before the gossip about her and exploded. But one fan caught on to that quick. So basically Tamar is him, and Indies casted him in a video as a cover-up and released the video earlier than expected because the people seen her and Mendeecees queued up in the club. Child, my. Atlanta is literally hell on earth. But when you stack that whole timeline together, it doesn't just come off messy. It comes off like something out of a soap opera waiting for the new twin to come out. But only this time is people's real lives on the line. And what makes it even wilder is that Tamar's injuries still sit in this like gray area. To some folks, it was just a bad accident. To others, it screams like somebody's payback move. But here's where Yandy comes in. Yandy isn't new to defending her marriage in public. She's been riding with Mendeecees for years through his prison stint, cheating rumors, and every messy headline in between. No matter what people throw at her, Yandy has always stood firm, showing herself as the ride-or-die wife who won't let anybody break up her family. Because on Love and Hip Hop, Yandy even took the fall for her man, claiming she sent DMs from his account when fans knew it was really him. Oh, I don't DM. I was DMing her. That was me. Wipe your tears, honey. Even castmates called her a liar to her face. And that movement proved just how far she'll go to protect Mendeecees. And why folks instantly believe that she might have pulled up on Tamar. I'm so confused. This is not the story that I heard from my niece. I know that Andy was not the one that was DMing her. Why, Andy's husband was. She's clearly lying to my face. And I'm not calling her out about it because I don't feel that I should. Don't let the gray eyes fool you, because this scene shows fans exactly how protective Yandy is of her marriage, even to the point of covering up or spinning stories to keep it intact. So when news broke out that Tamar was allegedly seen all cozied up with Mendeecees, it didn't take long for people to believe Yandy might have pulled up on her, because history shows Yandy doesn't just sit back. And the timing just made it messy. Literally a few days before all this blew up, Mendeecees and Yandy were all over social media with birthday love. And he wasn't just giving the usual thanks fam either. He was out here pouring his whole heart out. Happy birthday. Wow. 20 years of knowing you and 10 years of marriage, we've created a wonderful life together while raising our incredible children. And facing life's challenges. Our bond has only strengthened. Mendeecees wrote, "You are my foundation, my companion, and my closest friend. You've been my prize, my greatest achievement, and someone I aspire to make proud. You bring joy to my life every day. During the hardest moments, we've supported each other, learned, and grown together forever. These 20 years of friendship, partnership, and marriage. You mean everything to me, and I can't envision my life without you. I love you. Happy birthday, Yandy." Now, after his birthday dinner, he even gave a toast in telling Yandy that she was his inspiration and that he loved her deeply. And if the Instagram post wasn't already enough to prove how deep his love runs, a video from Yandy's private birthday dinner made the rounds online. In it, Mendeecees, he stood up with a glass in hand and looking right at her as he called her his everything. Well, he praised Yandy for being more than just his wife, but also an inspiration not only to Black women who see her strength, but even to men who respect the way she carries herself. "I just want to say thank you for being an amazing woman. I appreciate you. I love you," he said before leaning in for a kiss that had her friends and family cheering. And this moment was raw, very public, and very emotional. Almost like a stamp that their bond was untouchable. So imagine being in Yandy's shoes, fresh off of a public love fest with your husband, only to hear whispers that Tamar, another big name in the industry, was spotted hugged up with him in a club, even to take him home after. It wasn't hard to picture that Yandy would snap after this because she's always been very vocal about protecting her marriage and making it clear that nobody should test her boundaries. Let's be real here. Atlanta is Bay. It's real small. So, word gets around real quick. So, it wouldn't be a stretch to think the Gone Dandy caught wind of the situation before Tamar even made it home. And that's why the timeline of Tamar's accident happening just hours after that party hit so hard. To fans, it didn't feel random. It felt like Yandy made a move. What really convinced people was that it wasn't just bad luck. It was how the attack failed and looked. What really convinced people this wasn't just bad luck, it was how personal the attack seemed. Tamar took the hit, but Mendeecees walked away without a scratch. To the gossip crowd, that felt too clean. Almost like someone wanted her to pay, not him. People also brought up Tamar's history. 'Cause let's be real here, she's no stranger to feuds in the industry. From her sister Tony to Candy Beerus, the list is long. But usually those fights were all talk.